Hey, I'm Regular Zach, and this is my limited set review for Tarkir Dragonstorm. So I'm just going to be talking about these cards in the context of draft and sealed. So no constructed formats, nothing standard, nothing commander. And today we're talking about all the gold cards, all of them in this multicolor set. It's a lot of cards, so bear with me. Now, I'm going to be putting everything in a ranking scale or a grade scale from A to F, just kind of normal ones that you're used to. And we're going to go from common, uncommon, rare, mythic, rare. And if you want to know more about the grading scale, there is more information in the description below this video. Let's get started. All right, so we have our first card is Hardened Tactician. So it's 1 white black for a 2/4 creature human warrior. You can pay 1 and sacrifice a token to draw a card. So I think this is pretty interesting. What a fun design for like Mardu-ish decks. It also works in Abzan, obviously. Those are the two like token colors. But specifically, I like this in Mardu because you'll be attacking with all these creatures for like through Mobilize and everything. You're creating these tapped and attacking creatures. They get to sacrifice at the end of turn. This is a way to use those tokens to get card advantage. And like only having to pay 1 mana is like not too bad. It would be obviously busted if you didn't have to pay anything. But I think this card's quite good. This is like a B- for like that deck, and I really like it in Mardu. And in Abzan, it's perfectly fine, but I probably want to sacrifice those tokens a little bit less. So I think I'm more interested in Mardu for this card. Next up is Marshal of the Lost. And this is 2 white black for a 3/3 creature orc warrior with Death Touch. It says whenever you attack, target creature gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of attacking creatures. I'm also thinking of this card in Mobilize, like Mardu decks, because this doesn't actually have to attack. This is just any time you attack. So even if you're just attacking with 1 creature, it gets +1/+1. Obviously, you want to be attacking with more things. And if you can stack your Mobilize triggers correctly, you'll be able to have those attacking creatures, because it doesn't care if they attacked. It only cares if they're attacking. So that's a nice little workaround, and it actually works really well. This card seems sweet. I think this is a very good card. I picked this as one of my like favorite uncommons for like the dual uncommon cards. So I'm hoping this does really well. So I'm giving this like a solid B. Like this has Death Touch. It trades with another card for sure and makes attacks like really sweet for you. So I really like this a lot. Yeah, I'm going to be keeping my eye on this one for sure and not passing it very often, I don't think. Next up, we have Purging Stormbrood, which is 4 and a black for a 4/4 dragon creature. It has flying. It also has ward, pay 2 life, and whenever this creature enters, remove all counters from up to 1 target creature. This is part of a cycle. They also, it has an omen, but it's an off-color omen. So there are 5 of these, and they're all different like enemy pairs. And this one is white, so it's black and white, and it has the omen Absorb Essence, which is 1 and white for an instant omen. It says target creature gets +2/+2 and gains lifelink and hexproof until end of turn. Then you shuffle this card into its owner's library. So these are kind of weird. We'll have to see how these omens play out, because obviously this is a new card type for us, but there's just not strictly worse than Adventure, but pretty bad compared to Adventures. And they look so much like Adventures, it's really hard for me to like parse the difference. One of the things about this one is that the both cards are kind of narrow. Like you're keeping the combat trick in your hand until like the hexproof part of this combat trick makes you want to wait until someone tries to target it. But then you have to kind of decide, oh, if I now have 5 mana, do I just like play this 5 mana 4/4? But like if I don't have anything to target with the counter remove part of it, is that good enough? I don't know. This one's kind of strange, and it'll be interesting to play out. But I kind of like the combat trick version of this more than the creature. Just because I mean, like you'll like a 4/4 flyer, but it just doesn't. There's ones that I like better than this one, so it's hard to place this. Ultimately, I'm going to give this like a C plus. Getting the combat trick early and then maybe drawing this later in the game will be cool. We'll see if the counter thing actually matters. Maybe it will. Maybe it will actually matter if you're playing against Abzan or something. But ultimately, I don't know. Not as exciting. Next up is Barren Steppe Siege. So this is part of the Siege cycle. They're all rare and they're all 2 colors. And this is 2 white black for an enchantment. It says, as this enchantment enters, choose Abzan or Mardu. If you choose Abzan at the beginning of your end step, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Okay. And then Mardu is at the beginning of your end step, if a creature died this under your control this turn, each opponent sacrifices a creature of their choice. Yeah, okay. This is great. Both of these seem really good. Like pumping up your whole team, awesome. It is 4 mana, but still, every turn, that seems great. And it happens right away. The next one also happens right away, and you can like attack in first and then make some trades and then play this and then make them sacrifice more creatures so they weren't prepared for that. I like both parts of this card. I think this is really awesome. This is like a B plus probably. I don't think it's an A, but I'm like, it's trending up to me. I don't know. Maybe it's just a win more-ish card like the +1/+1 counterpart, but I don't know. I like it a lot. I think this card's really cool. All right, next up, we're moving into the Is It card. So this is Glacial Dragon Hunt. It's blue-red for a sorcery at uncommon. It says draw a card, then you may discard a card. When you discard a non-land card this way, Glacial Dragon Hunt deals 3 damage to target creature. It also has Harmonize, so you can pay 4 blue-red to replay this card from your graveyard. You can also tap a creature of any power to reduce the 4 part of that. So it could just cost 2 from your graveyard. But drawing a card, then discarding a card, okay. And this reminds me, there's Psychic Blast or what? There's a Hypnotic Blast or something like that, where you like draw cards, you discard something, and if it's not a land, you get to smoke something, like deal 4 damage to whatever. This reminds me of that card a lot, except for it's a lot cheaper, it does less damage, but it can be a very powerful effect, and when you have a bunch of harmonized cards in your deck where you do want to actually discard non-lands and you can get value from them, that seems cool. Although, overall, there are a lot of good ways to destroy things, and this isn't card advantage, it's just selection, so with that being said, I think it's probably just like a C+. I liked that other card from whatever Ravnica said it was from, but this is cool. I like this card. I just don't think it's amazing. Next up is Effortless Master. It's 2 blue-red for a 4/3 creature orc monk with vigilance and menace. And it says when this creature enters with 2 +1/+1 counters on it, if you've cast 2 or more spells this turn. All right, so you probably don't want to play this on turn 4 unless you have like Mox Jasper or something to play before it, which you probably won't. So this is like a turn 5, turn 6 play. So it's hard looking at this sometimes. You're like, oh, 4 mana for possibly like a 6/5. That's awesome. It has Menace and Vigilance. But you're not playing it on turn 4. You're probably playing it on turn 6 realistically, because then you'll play a 2-drop and this. And then, a huge, like a 6/5 Menace Vigilance. That's a lot. So I do like this, but it's a C+ again. It needs other cards to make it good, and it's not a card you can play until much later, and I guess the flexibility of being able to play it earlier if you want is fine. It does have 4 power for Teamer decks, that is one thing. But C+ for this Effortless Master. Next up is Runescale Stormbrood, which is 3 and a red for a 2/4 creature dragon with flying. It says whenever you cast a non-creature spell or a dragon spell, this creature gets +2/+0 until end of turn, and it also has an omen that's blue. It has Chilling Screech, which is 1 and a blue for an instant. Counter target spell with mana value 2 or less. I think this card looks really fun and really interesting. But the thing that's so strange about this card is that a lot of these dragon cards that have the omens, like the dragon costs a lot and then the omen doesn't cost very much. And so you kind of know, oh, if this is early, I play that. If it's late, I play the other part. But the ones that get really close together, where this is like 2 mana and then 4 mana, do you want to just hold on to this card until you get to play it? Like, obviously, if you hold up the counter spell and you get to counter something, that's pretty good, and it helps you stop early aggression. But this is also a really aggressive, like, kill you out of nowhere kind of card. It has like that slick shot show off type of text. So that it might just be speaking to me that way. But I don't know. Does this feel like I always just want to play the dragon part? Like, kind of. And I'm really excited about the counterspell part. Not really. But it will come up every once in a while. But I'll be kind of sad if I have to use the counterspell part, just because I want to be able to kind of combo off and hit my opponent for 1,000,000 damage in the air. I'm gonna give this a B because I do like it, but I think I like the creature part more than the actual instant part. Yeah, yeah. Next up, we have Frostcliff Siege, which is 1 blue-red for an enchantment at rare. It says when this enchantment enters, choose Jeskai or Teamer if you choose Jeskai. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, draw a card. All right, just like kind of a curiosity effect. And if you pick Teamer, creatures you control get +1/+0 and have trample and haste. Okay, that's good. That's good. I like this one. You can choose between whether you need to fuel your hand, which obviously that's what Jeskai cares about the most. And then Teamer is just getting damage in really quickly and smashing face, like smashing face. This is dope. This is a B plus. Again, I think I like these sieges a lot. They're really interesting. Lots of fun. This card's awesome. Like, I want a lot of little flyer things or stuff that can peck in with Jeskai randomly and being able to draw cards. It's just going to be so awesome. All right, next up we have Stalwart Successor, which is 1 black-green for a 3/2 creature human warrior with menace. It says whenever one or more counters are put on a creature you control, if it's the first time counters have been put on that creature this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature. So you can, the cool thing is that it can be counters of any type. Now, most of the time, the other types are coming with +1/+1 counters. It's like this creature gets +1/+1 and flying, or +1/+1 and a trample counter, or whatever. But being, this is the hardened scales variant. You just add extra counters whenever you get counters. That's sweet. I think this is like a B minus. Like, obviously, it needs other things to happen. It doesn't do counters itself. Like, if it had an ability that put a counter on something, this would be way better. But I think this will be really helpful. And, hey, you have one of the other siege that puts counters on everything. And then every turn you put, I guess it only does the one. Wait, let me read this again. Whenever one or more counters are put on a creature you control, if it's the first time counters. Yeah, if it's just the first time counters have been put on that creature. Okay. Yeah, because it does per creature. It's not even just the first time you do put counters on something. It's just the first time counters are put on that specific creature. So you could just put it on a bunch of stuff and they just get bigger and bigger. I don't know. Great. B minus. Good card. Next up, Host of the Hereafter. Even better card, in my opinion. 2 green-black for a 2/2 creature zombie warlock. It says, this creature enters with 2 +1/+1 counters on it, and whenever this creature or another creature you control dies, if it had counters on it, put its counters on up to 1 target creature you control. So this just gives all your creatures modular. Modular was so annoying when it came out in Mirrodin, because all your creatures had that ability and they just continued to move things around. They've since learned about that and that they don't do that anymore. And so this card basically has just a really powerful ability on it. It's probably a kill on sight, but if you can play this and attack with some stuff and then counters get moved around, or maybe try to put the counters on this thing because they're going to try to kill this, then you get to move those counters somewhere else. It already comes in with 2 itself. I don't know, this looks like a B. This looks so great for that deck. Awesome. Man, modular is so good. I love modular. Next up is Disruptive Stormbrood, which is 4 and a green for a 3/3 creature dragon with flying. When this creature enters, destroy up to 1 target artifact or enchantment. Okay, that's a little niche, but nice. 5 mana 3/3, a little weak though for green. Very strange. It also has an omen, which is black. It's called Petty Revenge, which is 1 and a black for a sorcery. Destroy target creature with power 3 or less. There we go. That's a real ability. That's a good. I like that. Some of these ones have like things that are really situational. The counterspell one is very situational. This one feels actually a lot better, though I am giving it basically the same grade because the actual dragon side does blow things up. If you blow up a siege with this, you'll be so stoked. You'll be so happy you got to blow up your opponent's siege. But there aren't a ton of artifacts and enchantments. There's like Dragonstorms and stuff. But most of them have already done something on the way in, so I don't know if destroying them is big game. So the dragon half of this, I don't care about as much, but having a removal spell that's stapled to a creature and that I could just remove things and then eventually play the dragon if I have to, I like that a lot. So I'm giving this a B. It's basically the same grade I'm giving the last couple dragons, but I like, this is one of my better ones. Maybe I don't think this is a B+. Maybe it's a B. It's a B. We're stopping there. It's a B. Next up, we have Hollow Merc Siege, which is black-green for an enchantment. As this enchantment enters, choose Sultai or Abzan. If you choose Sultai, whenever a counter is put on a creature you control, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. And then Abzan is whenever you attack, put a +1/+1 counter on target attacking creature. It gains menace until end of turn. Okay, so the Abzan +1/+1 counter menace thing is like totally fine. It's really annoying, but not like crazy. But whenever you put a counter on something, you draw a card. That's awesome. That's so good. That makes all of your cards way better. And I think that that's the one you always want to choose. This is 2 mana. So this comes down early, and then you're just like, every time you play a creature that endures, you draw a card. You know, or every time you're putting a counter on something through one random effect, or renewing something from your graveyard, or blah, 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 blah. You're just drawing cards and drawing cards and drawing cards. This is a B+. This is like one of my favorite ones. You don't have to be in that specific deck. And funnily enough, I think that like both Sultai and Abzan want the Sultai to be picked. But this is so good. All of your cards just to do that now. You just, almost every card you play cantrips. That's just amazing. That's going to be so good in certain decks. Oh, I love it. All right, next up we have Frontline Rush, which is red-white for an instant. Choose one. Create 2 1/1 red goblin creature tokens. Or target creature gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of creatures you control. All right, we've seen things like this before. 2 mana for 2 2/1s is great at instant speed. Awesome. Little token blockers, or giving a creature +3/+3 or whatever we can do. Also good. It is nice because sometimes when it's like, oh, there's like effects that let you pump your creature equal to the number of creatures you have, and then you have like basically no creatures. So this saves you from that headache of, well, at least I can play this and get more creatures, so that if I draw another one of these or something else, that'll be good. But you know, with all that being said, I think this is totally fine. It's not super crazy exciting. It's like a C+. You will be able to smoke people every once in a while with Mobilize in this, but I think that it takes a little bit of setup. Next up, we have Quarry Mountain Stalwart, which is 1 red-white for a 3/3 creature human monk with Flurry. It says whenever you cast your second spell each turn, this creature deals 2 damage to each opponent and you gain 2 life. I actually like this one a lot. I'm giving it a B-. It's like a B level card, but it's not... it doesn't do everything by itself. You do have to do the Flurry thing. But this is one of the ways that you'll be able to just like slowly ping your opponents down by like, you know, shooting them every turn whenever you're playing double spells. And it's aggressive because of that. The body is really nice. It's 3 mana 3/3, and you're gaining life so that you can attack in. You don't have to worry about them attacking you back. And like, I don't know. There's a lot of things to like about this card. B-. I'm gonna be scared of this dude for sure. Look at that. Look at his spear thing too. Jeez. All right, next up we have Twin Maw Stormbrood, which is 5 and a white for a 5/4 creature dragon with flying. When this creature enters, you gain 5 life. Well, 5 life is a lot. That's a lot of life. And it also has an omen, which is Charring Bite. So it's 1 and a red for a sorcery. Charring Bite deals 5 damage to target creature without flying. That's just a great... 5 damage is a lot. Obviously, it doesn't kill dragons, but it kills just about everything else. Like, I would almost just play that card. Like, 2 mana to deal 5 to something. I don't know. And then you gain 5 life. This is also the thing I was talking about, where like it costs a lot to play the dragon and not very much to play the omen. So then you're in the situation where you're like, well, I always can just, I feel fine using the omen on turn 4, because it's gonna be 2 more turns before I get to this thing, and I don't even know if I'm gonna draw my lands in time to slam this down. So I might as well just kill the stuff that I can. And then when you actually get to play this card, it stabilizes you so well. People can't really attack into this, and then you just gained 5 life. This is sweet. This is good. This is a B, like a B level, strong, solid B. Love it. Next up, we have Windcrag Siege, which is 1 red-white for an enchantment. As this enchantment enters, choose Mardu or Jeskai. If you choose Mardu, if a creature attacking causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. Okay, so you get to do Mobilize twice, basically. And then for Jeskai, it says, at the beginning of your upkeep, create a 1/1 red goblin creature token. It gains lifelink and haste until end of turn. Sure. Okay. I like this one. This one doesn't seem nearly as crazy exciting. Especially because the triggered ability thing has to be like attacking triggers. So you don't, it really just is mobilized. You don't get to do a lot of the other ones. So that's kind of upsetting. But getting a free creature every turn is pretty nice. I'm going to give this like a B-. Like, not nearly as exciting as some of the other ones. You don't really draw cards. You just get little 1/1s. And the funny thing is, like, the Jeskai, getting the 1/1 is not necessarily what you care about doing. So, I don't know. It makes tokens. It makes more tokens. Maybe this is actually worse than I was saying. No, I'm going to give this like a C-, or like, sorry, a C+. I think it's good, but I don't... Some of the other ones are just so much better. Just so much better. You know what I mean? Yeah. All right, let's move on to our last 2-color pair is Kishlaw Skimmer. It's green-blue for a 2/2 creature bird scout with flying. It says, whenever a card leaves your graveyard during your turn, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. So if you renew things from your graveyard, you draw a card. If you exile them for any other reason, whatever you have, you get to draw a card. That's cool. Assuming it doesn't really happen all that much, so it seems good for that deck, but I know it says draw a card, but it just, I don't, how many, are you going to be able to consistently do this every single turn or on your turn and your opponent's turn kind of thing to utilize it really well? I'm going to give it like a C+. It, you know, there's potential, but I'm not extremely impressed. Next up is Auroral Procession, which is green-blue for an instant. Return target card from your graveyard to your hand. Okay, well, that would be stuff leaving your graveyard, right? Like, this just cares about cards leaving your graveyard. All right, so this will do it. All right, yeah. This is kind of funny. It looks more like a black ability, but it is just target card. And that is something that green can do, so that's totally fine. Usually it's permanents, but whatever. You just get to return anything back to your hand for 2 mana, instant speed. Cool. Cool. Like, I wish that it got me more than just 1 card, but it's only 2 mana, so that's really nice, but it is 2 colors. I don't know. I think I'm just going to kind of give this a C, though. Like, does this mean that this color pair is open? I think it'll be helpful when you're milling and you get to return something to your hand, but I usually like the ones that cost 3, but you get at least 2 cards or more. So one card is sad. It's a little sad. It's like twice as expensive as Raised Dead, so Raised Dead is way better. Next up, we have Whirlwing Stormbrood, which is 4 and a blue for a 4/3 creature dragon. It has flash, it has flying. And it says you may cast sorcery spells and dragon spells as though they had flash. So basically dragons and omens. I mean, there's more sorceries than that. That's why they said that. But it does let you do that. So that's cool. Yeah, playing dragons at flash speed sounds really scary. And sorcery is not nearly as much, but dragons for sure. It also has an omen, which is Dynamic Soar, which is 2 and a green for a sorcery. It says put 3 +1/+1 counters on target creature you control, then shuffle this card into your library. I don't like that one nearly as much. Sorcery speed to put 3 counters on something is just not that exciting. I'm not obsessed with that at all. And I think that the flash thing is fine, but we've had other cards that were like it let you do it with all your cards, and this is just your dragons and your sorceries. So yeah, I could see this do something. I'm gonna just give this like a C though. I don't like this one as much. The white-red one is way better than this. Like way better, right? It's gotta be. Next up is Glacial Wood Siege, which is 1 green-blue for an enchantment. As the enchantment enters, choose Teamer or Sultai. If you choose Teamer, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, target player mills 3 cards. Okay. And then Sultai says you may play lands from your graveyard. Oh, yeah. Is the dream of like milling our opponent with this, with like instants and sorceries, really alive and well? Are we just milling ourselves when we play instants and sorceries? The Teamer kind of has this weird like, oh, you want to play half instants and sorceries, half creatures. That's kind of, a lot of your cards care about both of those things, I guess. But I guess maybe you don't have to play half and half because hopefully your instants and sorceries have harmonize. So you get to play them twice. And you want to play them and then mill yourself to get more of them in your graveyard? Or do you want to play them a lot and then mill your opponent? Because 4 is a lot. Playing lands from your graveyard seems okay. It's like Crucible of Worlds. Okay. That's not really good in limited. I'm going to give this a C-. It could be a D. This seems pretty bad. I'm not really excited to put this in my deck, and it seems very niche. Yeah, not obsessed. Next up, we have the 3-color pairs. So we're starting with Mardu, and this is our first card. It's a common. It's called Reigning Victor, and you can cast it for Mardu, so red, white, black, or hybrid if you're losing any of those colors. So basically, it could be like 2 or a red, 2 or a white, 2 or a black. Any combination of all those things. I don't want to talk about it too much because I don't like this card very much. It's a 3/3 creature orc warrior with mobilize 1. And it says when this creature enters, target creature gets +1/+0 and gains indestructible until end of turn. Cool. So if you can play this for 3 mana, it's totally serviceable. Like, this will do what you want it to do. It's totally fine. If you play it for 4 mana, you're pretty upset, and anything more than that is just a train wreck. So yeah, if you do get it for 3 mana and you can make it more aggressive, awesome. You get one of your mobilized creatures through, maybe something a little bit bigger. It's only mobilized 1 though, so that's kind of a bummer. But it does still have the actual thing. Yeah, it's like a C- though. This isn't meaning like Mardu's open. This is just a card you'll kind of begrudgingly play. I don't think it's going to be fast enough where the actual indestructible will matter all that much. It'll just be kind of like cool once, but I don't know. This could be much worse. This is better than some of the other ones that's in this kind of like cycle. So that's why it's like a C-, but the other ones are also... We'll get to them. You'll see. Next up, we have defibrillating current. Same mana cost. You get hybrid 2 or a red or 2 or a white, 2 or a black. Or really, you just want to pay 3. It's a sorcery, and it says that it deals 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker, and you gain 2 life. Okay, the mana cost on this is just bad. It's so hard to cast. Like, you have to have those colors. This is going to screw you up so many times when you're trying to play an Absent spell, and then you have this as your removal spell, and it just gets more and more expensive. Like, there are red, white, and black commons that are just better than this card as far as removal goes. Like, there's a red common that deals 4 for 2, and it's just a single red. Like, I don't think gaining 2 life is really that much better. I don't think this is good. This is like a D. Like, this is not a good card. This is one you kind of hope you don't have to play. Right? Like, you'd rather just get, like, whatever, Dragon's Prey. It costs 3 mana. Like, kills everything besides dragons. And it costs 5. But it has the same kind of modular mana cost thing. I don't know. What is this? Next up, we have Bone Cairn Butcher. It's 1 red, white, black for a 4/4 creature demon. It has mobilized 2. Sick. And it also says attacking tokens you control have death touch. So all of your mobilized dudes get death touch? Hell yeah, buddy! Just on its own, when you're attacking, you get 2 1/1 death touchers when you're attacking. Sweet. Sweet. Honestly, I just want to keep this on the battlefield and just attack with other things. And just go to town. Go to town, buddy. This is a B. This makes that deck very scary. This is a teamer killer, for sure. You're just like, oh, death touch stuff. There you go. Yeah, B for the Bone Cairn Butcher. Next up, we have Sonic Shrieker, which is 2 red, white, black for a 4/4 creature demon with flying. It says when this creature enters, it deals 2 damage to any target and you gain 2 life. If a player is dealt damage this way, they discard a card. Whoa, what? 5 mana 4/4 flyer, deal 2 damage to your opponent, you gain 2 life, and they discard a card? Sign me up, buddy. This is great. This is like a B+. This doesn't really need anything else, right? You just either kill something that is problematic, but I want to hit my opponent with this. Come down, smack my opponent, make them discard a card. It's probably the last card in their hand. Or if they don't have cards in their hand, you just shoot one of their creatures. Yeah, B+. This card seems sweet. Uncommon for the Sonic Shrieker? This is scary. Next up, we have Zurgo Thunder's Decree, which is Mardu, so it's red, white, black for a 2/4 legendary creature Orc Warrior at rare. It has Mobilize 2. Sick. It also says during your end step, warrior tokens you control have this token can't be sacrificed. Okay. So the specific workaround where it says during your end step, warrior tokens say they can't be sacrificed is because you don't want it to say like warrior tokens can't be sacrificed, because then you can't sacrifice them to your other cards to draw things or do other sacrifice shenanigans. So it only is working during your end step, which just means you get to keep your warriors all the time. That's really what this card's doing, which is sweet. That's so good. This is another one of those cards where you just want to play it and then you just get to keep a bunch of tokens and slowly build up your army, your Zurgo army. Yeah, this is cool. A 2/4 is like nice because you can attack and they probably can't just straight up kill it. Or they might have to double block or something to do that. But yeah, this is a B. This card's sweet. I like Zurgo a lot. Next up, we have Thunder of Unity, which is red, white, black for a saga at rare. The first chapter says you draw 2 cards and you lose 2 life. And then chapters 2 and 3 both say whenever a creature you control enters this turn, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Sick. So this is like Impact Tremors on 2 and 3, but you gain life when you do it too. And when you're mobilizing, you gain tons of life and you dome your opponent for a bunch. Sick. Sick. This card's awesome. This is great. You do need to build your deck around this, however. And making sure you have slots for things that aren't creatures is kind of difficult, but this is definitely one of them. Like draw spell into like I'm beating my opponents up, just pounding it into them. I'm gonna say like a B- for this. I had it a little bit lower actually, but I think it will just kill your opponent before you even deal your combat damage sometimes, which is awesome. 2 full turns of it. Though it does go away, so would I prefer to just have a creature that does this all the time? Maybe, but I think you can set up a turn where this is going to be scary. Like if this comes down and my opponent is just playing mobilized creatures and not attacking, and then they have this, I'm like, uh-oh, that's not good. So, scary card. Next up, we have Inevitable Defeat. This is 1 red, white, black for an instant at rare. It says this spell can't be countered. Exile target non-land permanent. Its controller loses 3 life and you gain 3 life. Whoa! So we just straight up nuke something and then also Lightning Helix. Sick. There's nothing they can do about it. This kills everything. This is a solid like B+. B+ removal spell. It costs 4 mana, but it gets everything. It's instant speed. You could kill your opponent just because they had something. It gets everything. This card's awesome. Very good. Next up, we have Mardu Siegebreaker, which is 1 red, white, black for a 4/4 creature human warrior with Death Touch and Haste. Whenever this creature enters, exile up to 1 other target creature you control until this creature leaves the battlefield. That's kind of strange. We're not really used to exiling our own creatures. Usually I'm exiling my opponent's creatures, so that's bizarre. But let's keep reading. It says, whenever this creature attacks for each opponent, create a tapped token that's a copy of the exiled card attacking that opponent. At the beginning of your end step, sacrifice those tokens. Okay. That's cool. So this is just... It comes down, exile 1 of whatever creature you have, attack immediately, and then you get another copy that's tapped and attacking, and then you don't have to worry about like that copy dying because it's going to die anyway. If this dies, you just get your original 1 back at the end, and you took something out because this has Death Touch, or just smash them for 4 because it has 4 power. Like, this has a lot of cool stuff going on for sure. The coolest thing would be is if you had this and you also were able to exile a warrior with it. So when you're attacking with your warrior and then you play Zurgo, and so then your warrior doesn't end up dying at the end of combat or at the end step. That would be sick. But this card's pretty awesome. I'm still just going to give this a B. I think it's really strong. Obviously, it looks like it's good for Commander, like really fun. But you do need another creature on the battlefield for this to be a good card. Like 4 mana 4/4 Death Touch haste just on its own is pretty cool. But and it will trade for a card. But for the whole effect of what it really wants to do, you need at least something else that's worth copying and attacking with. So I'm going to give it a B for that reason. But really cool, really fun card. Also another scary Mardu card. I love it. Next up, we have Nerev, Heart of the Storm. It's 1 red, white, black for a 4/5 legendary creature, spirit dragon at Mythic. It has flying. And it says, if a creature you control that entered this turn would deal damage, it deals twice that much damage instead. This card with the last card, that's scary. Holy moly. Yeah. Now, you really want haste with this or mobilize tokens. Unfortunately, mobilize tokens will only deal 2 damage, so it does help like just get your opponent dead. But the double damage part is such a weird thing because they have to have entered that turn. So it's kind of a bizarre card. I still think it's really strong though, but I think it's not even... Is it really an A? I think you need other weird stuff to go along with it. This feels like a B. It's 4 mana 4/5 is awesome. And then every once in a while getting to deal double damage is good, but not an A level dragon. Sorry, Mardu. Though this card, it just looks super cool. You can definitely build around it, but in draft it might be kind of difficult. Next up we have All Out Assault, which is 2 red, white, black for an enchantment at Mythic. It says creatures you control get +1/+1 and have Death Touch. Whoa, just everything has +1/+1 and Death Touch? It says when this enchantment enters, if it's your main phase, there's an additional combat phase after this phase, followed by an additional main phase. When you next attack this turn, untap each creature you control. So you play this in your main phase, pump up your whole team, give them all Death Touch. They attack, they untap, they mobilize stuff. Those mobilized creatures get +1/+1 and Death Touch. Anything that's left over, you get to attack again and do the same thing. This is sweet. This is really good, actually. Most of the time we get a lot of these, like, you get extra combats or whatever, and they're really expensive, and they don't do anything. The fact that this gives your creatures +1/+1 and Death Touch is huge. This makes this card so much better. This goes from, like, a C, maybe, or D level card of, like, oh, it's an enchantment, you get 1 extra combat, to, this is like a B+. It pumps your whole team. It makes you scary. It forces your opponent to block some things. Like, this goes from, oh, well, at least I get 2 combats, but I'm probably not going to get anything like to survive the first one, and even if they don't block, they won't die, to they're going to die, and things are trading, and things are happening. B+, sweet card. All right, next up, we do have a card in the special guest slot. The ultimatums are back. These are from Ikoria, and we won't see these very often, but I still wanted to talk about them, so I will talk about them at the end of each of the different wedges. So this is Ruinous Ultimatum, probably the best one for draft, honestly. It's red, red, white, 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 black, black for a sorcery at Mythic. It says destroy all non-land permanents your opponents control. This card is phenomenal. It's a one-sided board wipe. Kills your opponent. I think we're going to be in a format that lets us live long enough to actually cast this card. You do have to make sure you can cast it, because red, red, white, 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 black, black is hard to cast. All of them are really hard to cast. But this one pays you off so much. You just win the game, basically. Like, oh, sorry, this is like a 6-for-1 or whatever. This is so good. All non-land permanents? All of them. The one weird thing about this is that it's so expensive that maybe your Mardu deck doesn't actually want to play it. Do you know what I mean? Or it's like, yeah, I'm Mardu, I cap out, like the top of my curve is 4, and we're just going aggressive. And then you get this, and you're like, do I even put this in my deck? Because my deck is so small. I don't want to put something so hard to cast and so expensive in it. But it's so good. I don't know. I give this an A. I think you might rather build your Mardu decks closer to where you could cast this card than not. Maybe it just won't be fast enough. I don't know. But this card's so strong. It's so good. I love this card. Next up, we have Temur Tawny back, which is the same weird hybrid stuff again. It's 2 or a green, 2 or a blue, or 2 or a red. So a 3 mana, really. For a 4/3 creature beast, it says when this creature enters, draw a card, then discard a card. Okay. Like, no. This is hard to cast. Like, sure, like the ability is totally fine. But in white or blue and green, we have like 3 mana ways to draw cards just by playing them. Sure, the bodies might not be as big. Well, the white one's a 4/3. So, like, I don't want to play this card. It's a D. It's a D. It's too hard to cast. Next up, we have Dragonclaw Strike. Same mana cost, 2 or a green, 2 or a blue, 2 or a red. And it's a sorcery at uncommon. It says double the power and toughness of target creature you control until end of turn. Then it fights up to 1 target creature an opponent controls. Cool. This is a pretty good removal spell. The problem with fight spells majority of the time is that you just don't get to actually, what's the word? You have to trade your creature with it because it's not big enough. Or it's only big enough where they both trade, so you're down a card. This at least doubles its power and toughness, really important, to make sure that it doesn't actually die from the exchange. But yeah, do I like it more than like the instant speed fight that's like common? Or not fight, the instant speed bite that's like common, where you just like deal damage to your opponent thing? No, I don't. I think that this effect is just... it's just hard, which the mana cost and everything. Even though it's like supposed to help or whatever, I don't want to pay 4 mana for this, really. 5 mana seems awful. 6 is horrendous. So, like, I don't know. I still think it's like a C. Double power and toughness is nice, though. If there is a situation where your opponent only has 1 creature, you kill their creature with this, and then you get to attack, and you don't have to worry about your creature dying. That's awesome. So there is that. But I still think like a C. Next up, we have Mammoth Bellow, which is 2 green, blue, red. For a sorcery at uncommon, it says create a 5/5 green elephant creature token and harmonize with for 5 green, blue, red. Sick. I think this is great. This reminds me of some old, like, I think Call the Herd or some Elephant Stampede or something, where you get a bunch of 3/3s. But now this is just a 5/5 elephant. So awesome. It is 5 mana for a vanilla 5/5, but the cool thing is that it's Harmonize 5 Temur. So you can use the elephant that you made to harmonize, make another one. That's sweet. This turn, make a 5/5 elephant, opponent can't attack. Next turn, tap it, make another one. What are they going to do? This is like a B-. I think this card's really good. I like this a lot. Like, you'll be happy. Next up is Karakik Guardian. It's 3 green, blue, red for a 6/5 creature dragon at uncommon. It says it has flying, vigilance, and trample. And it says this creature has hexproof if it hasn't dealt damage yet. Like, at all. Like, any damage. So as soon as you attack with it and it deals damage to anything, it no longer has hexproof. So... this is interesting. This is like a functional reprint of one of like Bolas's brothers, right? One of the... I can't remember which one it was. It's the forgettable one. Because this ability didn't seem to be that great. But at uncommon for 6 mana, I think that one was 7 perhaps, much better. I think this is pretty good. Like, I'm going to be really annoyed by this. And the biggest thing with cards that have this... like, the fun thing about this card is that it has hexproof basically for 1 turn. Or maybe even less than 1 turn. Because your opponent plays it, or let's say you play it. You play it, you don't have to worry about your opponent actually killing it before you get to attack. However, if you play it and then they attack into you, if you block something, like they chump attack, you block something, then they can target your creature because it dealt damage. So that's a little funky thing with this, but vigilance, flying, trample, that can't die on the turn you play it. I don't know. Seems like a pretty good card. It's like a B-. I like this. Maybe a B. Just a solid B. No, you know what? It's B-. Sorry, I'm going back and forth. It doesn't really matter that much, but it's a B-. Next up is Songcrafter Mage. It's green, blue, red for a 3/2 creature human bard at rare. It has flash. It says when this creature enters, target instant or sorcery card in your graveyard gains harmonize until end of turn. Its harmonize cost is equal to its mana cost. Oh, cute. Oh, it's so cute. This is like a flashbacky, Snapcaster Meiji kind of thing. But Harmonize is significantly worse than that. In the sense, or sorry, it's not worse than that. It's just Harmonize is better in the sense that yes, I can just like tap my creatures to make it cheaper, so that is helpful. And you can tap this to make it cheaper, but it's cost 3, which is a big change over 2. So it's not like I can snap in to counter your spell or something, or snap in to bolt something, or do all the cool things that Snapcaster usually does. It's also kind of hard to play in limited. But this color constriction, then you cast it, and then you have more color constrictions. Like Snapcaster, it costs blue. This is 3 different colors. So not only do you have to play this, but then you still have to have the colors left over to cast the thing that's in your graveyard. You can tap this, so it costs 3 less. So maybe it's like, 3 then Teamer or whatever, but you still have to pay the Teamer. I'm gonna give this like a C-. I don't really like this card very much. Not for limited. Not for limited. Sorry. It's cool though. Next up is Teamer Battlecrier, which is green, blue, red for a 4/3 creature orc ranger at rare. It says during your turn, spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each creature you control with power 4 or greater. Cool. Yeah, this is a nice little like rampy payoff thing for having big creatures and then playing bigger creatures and then snowballing that effect. And then everything basically just costs Teamer like this thing. 3 mana 4/3. Nice. I like this. This is like a C+. I don't think it's phenomenal, but I do like this card. So yeah, it seems very self-explanatory. Next up is Eshki Dragonclaw. 1 green, blue, red for a 4/4 legendary creature, human warrior at rare. It has vigilance and trample and ward 1. Ward 1, much more annoying than you'd think. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you've cast both a creature spell and a non-creature spell this turn, draw a card and put 2 +1/+1 counters on Eshki Dragonclaw. Draw a card and this thing becomes a 6/6? That is a big payoff for jumping through all the hoops. That isn't easy to do, casting a creature and a non-creature in the same turn before combat, so this can trigger. That's a lot of hoops you got to jump through, but you do get paid off with a giant creature and a card. So you get to activate this one time, you're happy. Unfortunately, you can't do it on the turn it actually comes into play. No, you can, yeah. You play this, then you play something else, and then immediately you get your card. Sweet. Because you need some other things to do it, this is like a B+ instead of an A. But I do think this card's really cool and makes for a really interesting thing. Maybe this is a fun commander deck. Next up is Roar of Endless Song. It's 2 green, blue, red for a saga at rare. Chapters 1 and 2 are exactly the same. Create a 5/5 green elephant creature token, and then chapter 3 says double the power and toughness of each creature you control until end of turn. Double the power and toughness of your 2 5/5s? So you attack for 20? Yes! Yes! This is one card that's 2 cards, and it makes for a huge attack. This is an A. I think this is an A. This feels sweet. Yeah, maybe I just like 5 mana 5/5 elephants. Maybe that's what it is. But this card seems awesome. I definitely want to play this, and scary card. Next up, we have Dragonback Assault, which is 3 green, blue, red for an enchantment mythic. When this enchantment enters, if it deals 3 damage to each creature and each planeswalker. So just wipes out everything except for my elephants. And it also has landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, create a 4/4 dragon creature token with flying. What the fuck? This is insane. This kills all the small things, and then you just play lands every turn and make dragons for the rest of the game? This is scary as shit. It is 6 mana, but it does wipe the board. So there is that. Or it does a kind of good job of doing it. You can play your bigger creatures, and you won't lose any of them before this. Kill all the small stuff. That's probably the things that's killing you because they went too wide and you can't block everything. Then you just get a million dragons. This looks like an A. If I could get a dragon immediately, so I'd have to wait till turn 7, I'd be so stoked. If I could survive that long. But this card looks crazy. What's with all these awesome tokens? Teamer's got these amazing cards. I love it. Next up is Ureni, the Song Unending, which is 5 green, blue, red for a 10/10 legendary creature spirit dragon at Mythic. It has flying, protection from white, and protection from black. Oh, fuck off. It says when Ureni enters, it deals X damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures and or planeswalkers your opponents control, where X is the number of lands you control. Is 8? This is crazy. This is an A+. This comes down, shoots whatever you want. Literally kills just whatever you want. Like, you're dealing 8 damage, at least. And this is a 10/10 with protection from white and black. Get wrecked. This card's good. It's so good. This is just bonkers. Teamer seems crazy. Next up, we have Genesis Ultimatum. This is the special guest card, which is green, green, blue, 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 red, red for a sorcery. It says, look at the top 5 cards of your library, put any number of permanent cards from among them onto the battlefield and the rest into your hand, and then exile it. Sweet. This is hard to cast, and you don't for sure get things that win you the game immediately. Do you know what I mean? So that is hard. But this could be crazy, right? It could be crazy. But also at the same time, it might not get you much of anything. You get some lands. 5 cards. Yes, we're in limited, so our decks are a bit smaller, so that does help. But you just never know. Going all the way up to this and then slamming this and just crossing your fingers, I'd much rather Ruinous Ultimatum. This is still like a B, but I'm just not as obsessed with this card. Just because you have to play cheaper creatures, and maybe, getting a couple cheap creatures off of this won't be that great. And also, a lot of the cards I like are like spells that make tokens, so I don't know. B. All right, next up we have Abzan card. So this is Reputable Merchant. So this is the same casting cost thing. 2 or a white, 2 or a black, 2 or a green for a 2/2 creature human citizen. Oh, it's the human, not the turtle. Okay, so the human is selling the turtle. Okay, that's a merchant. I understand now. I was wondering why a turtle was so small. I'm like, that's a big turtle. It's just a 2/2. Anyway, this says, when this creature enters or dies, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. So it's a 3/3, basically. And when it dies, you put a counter somewhere. It's a D. This is a D level card. I don't like this very much at all. No, next. Bad. Next up, we have Kintree Severance, which is the same casting cost, 2 or a white, 2 or a black, 2 or a green. For an instant at uncommon, exile target permanent with mana value 3 or greater. Sweet. This is good. This kills most things you want it to kill. It is expensive, but at least this kills bigger stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, the other cards that we had were weird casting cost and also don't kill everything. This kills most everything you want by the point of the game where you're able to play this. So yeah, this is like a B-. Yeah, kill stuff. It's great. Next up, we have Skirmish Rhino. It's white, black, green for a 3/4 creature rhino at uncommon with trample. And it says, when this creature enters, each opponent loses 2 life, you gain 2 life. This is like a little baby siege rhino. Yay! This card's awesome. This is going to be great. This is a B. Like, you want to play this. You want to be able to bounce it and play it again. You can attack with this. You can reanimate it from your graveyard and hit them for more. This is awesome. We know how strong Siege Rhino is, and I think Skirmish Rhino is just going to also just be good. Next up, we have Armament Dragon, which is 3 white, black, green for a 3/4 creature dragon at uncommon with flying. It says, when this creature enters, distribute 3 +1/+1 counters among 1, 2, or 3 creatures you control. Nice. So at the very least, it doesn't say other creatures, so you can put them on this. So at the very least, it's just a 6 mana, what is that, 6/7? All right. Sure. Or distribute them in the perfect way so everything's great. I like these uncommon dragons so far. These are sweet. Yeah, it's like a B. I like this. I like this a lot. That's a big body in the air if you put a bunch of counters on this. Like, you probably want to put like 1 on this, so it's a 4/5, and then a couple on the other ones. But it'll depend on what the air looks like. But no, this is a B. This is sweet. I love it. Next up, we have Severance Priest, which is white, black, green for a 3/3 creature Djinn Cleric at rare. It has Death Touch, and it says, when this creature enters, target opponent reveals their hand, and you may choose a non-land card from it. If you do, exile that card. When this creature leaves the battlefield, the exiled card's owner creates an XX white spirit creature token where X is the mana value of the exiled card. Okay. This reminds me of, Skyclave Apparition, which was awesome, but it also capped it. It was on the battlefield where you got to get rid of things, and it capped it at 4 mana value. Now, this is, you can get anything that you want, but be wary, because if you take something too big, you're going to give them a giant token. This isn't in blue, so you can't even bounce it or anything like that. You might be just making a real problem for yourselves. Now, is stripping a card from their hand and then eventually maybe giving them like a 6/6 token better than whatever you were taking? Yeah, hopefully. But this also is just like a 3 mana 3/3 with Death Touch, so you kind of want to trade it off for something. I think it's still good, but it does scare me a little bit. I'm just going to say this like a B-. Like, it's a way to kill stuff for sure, but I feel like you're going to want to take the biggest thing in their hands, and you're going to make a giant token out of it. So it might just kill you in the end. Yeah, B-. Next up, we have Felothar, Dawn of the Abzan, which is white, black, green for a 3/3 legendary creature, human warrior at rare. It has trample. And whenever Felothar enters or attacks, you may sacrifice a non-land permanent. When you do, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Each creature enters or attacks, you say. Non-land permanent. It could be anything. That's cool. Also, this is a nice little payoff for, like, if you endured one a bunch of times and made a bunch of little tokens, now you come in, kill those spirits, put counters on everything. That's sweet. Or, now you just have a bunch of tokens to put counters on. Both of those things seem awesome. You do have to have a deck that has a bunch of tokens for this to be good. You don't want to be sacrificing real things because you're just getting +1/+1 counters. But it puts the counters on itself, and it has trample and everything else. So, yeah. B+. B+ for this card. Not an A level, just because you have to build too much around it. It's not like raw power, but really cool synergy card. Next up is Yathan Roadwatcher. It's 1 white, black, green for a 3/3 creature human scout at rare. When this creature enters, if you cast it, mill 4 cards. When you do, return target creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Oh, I like this because you get to just bring things back. Now, milling in Abzan isn't necessarily exactly what they want to do, but you'll probably have some sort of renew cards or something in there. And like getting it straight back to the battlefield. If you're playing more of like a lower to the ground Abzan deck where you're trading things off and then you slam this and bring something back from your graveyard, it comes right to the battlefield. I don't know. This looks pretty good to me. I want it to be an A. I really do, but I think it's just a B+. I think it's a B+. 3, a lot of the great cards are 4 mana value. Obviously it's 3, so you can't get this one back and then kind of loopy-loop stuff. But B+ for this card. I think this is really fun. There's some cool little creatures with fun abilities that this would be really great for. Also makes it more interesting to be able to sacrifice your stuff to stuff. Sacrifice your stuff to stuff, because you can get it back with this thing. Next up is Revival of the Ancestors. It's 1 white, black, green for a saga at rare. There are 3 chapters and they're all different. The first one is create 3 1/1 white spirit creature tokens. Nice. Chapter 2, distribute 3 +1/+1 counters among 1, 2, or 3 target creatures you control. Nice. And then Chapter 3 is creatures you control gain trample and lifelink until end of turn. Oh, sweet. This gives us 3 bodies. They're all basically 2/2s, and then they get trample and lifelink. Plus all your other creatures also get trample and lifelink. Plus any combination of whatever we want to do, essentially. This looks like another B+. B+. I love cards that give me more cards and slowly give me value and a big turn of lifelink and trample. So either you kill them or they have to block with a bunch of stuff and you gain a ton of life. Fantastic. Yes, give it to me. Next up, we have Bator. Bator. Kin to All. It's 2 white, black, green for a 5/7 legendary creature, spirit dragon at mythic with flying. Okay, that's a wall of text. It says at the beginning of your end step, if creatures you control have total toughness 10 or greater, draw a card. Then if creatures you control have total toughness 20 or greater, untap each creature you control. Then if your creatures you control have total toughness 40 or greater, each opponent loses half their life rounded up. All right. Don't look at the other two. That's what I'm going to say. All you need to know is that this is a 5 mana, 5/7. First of all, what the hell? That's huge. 5 mana, 5/7 flying. At the beginning of your end step, if creatures you control have total toughness 10 or greater, draw a card. That's what this card does. That's it. So you just need to play this with like 1 3/3, and then you draw a card every end step. This is like an A+. I'm going to give this an A. I don't think it's an A+, but this thing's huge, and it's just going to give you so much value every turn. Like, you have to kill this card. It's so cheap. It's got such a huge butt. And just don't read the rest of the card. Don't be focused on trying to get 40 toughness worth of stuff. It might happen. Untapping all your creatures might happen. But just focus on making sure you draw that card every turn, because that's going to be worth it. That's enough for this to be an A-level card. Really, that's all you need. Next up, we have Parination. Oh, gosh. This is an ultimatum if I've ever seen one. That's what it looks like. It's 3 white, green, black for a sorcery at Mythic. Return target permanent card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a hexproof counter and an indestructible counter on it. What? Hexproof and indestructible? Oh my god, that's going to be so annoying. My opponents are going to play this on me so much, getting back their giant dragon thing. And I'm going to try to play it and never have any good targets or not have enough lands. That's basically what this card is going to be. This looks crazy. B+, though. You do have to have a setup cost of getting that big thing into the graveyard. So there is that. It doesn't just kill you or kill your opponents on its own. But once you actually get to cast this and get something good out of it, that's scary, man. If the card you get back has an attack trigger as well, you just get to attack forever and not worry about it ever dying. Yeah. B+, but really sweet. Next up is Eerie Ultimatum. It's white, white, black, 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 green, green for a sorcery at Mythic. It says return any number of permanent cards with different names from your graveyard to the battlefield. Okay, that's pretty cool. That's great. It's the same type of thing, though. You need to make sure you have cards in your graveyard. But getting, like, everything back, that's awesome. That's so awesome. It's, again, really hard to cast, but I'm going to say this is another B+. Similar to the Parination. You know, obviously, this one, it is harder to cast, and the other one seems a little bit more insurmountable. But if you get a bunch of creatures back with this, you're laughing all the way to the bank, baby. I still think Ruinous Blast is the best one, but I think this one is kind of better than the randomness of some of the other ones. You can like get this working a little bit better. Next up is Monastery Messenger. So this is, again, one of the hard to cast, or not hard to cast, but hard to say casting costs, which is 2 aura blue, 2 aura red, 2 aura white for a 2/3 creature bird scout with flying and vigilance. It says when this creature enters, put up to 1 target non-creature, non-land card from your library on the from your graveyard on the top of your library. So you get to recast one of your non-creature things, but it doesn't like go into your hand, so that makes it a lot worse. But of these ones that, you know, 3 mana for you get your best instant and sorcery back, essentially. Okay. It does also randomly get, like, your siege if it blew up or some artifacts and enchantments. But primarily you're probably doing instants and sorceries. So getting back a removal spell sounds nice. It doesn't go into your hand, though, so that's kind of meh. So I'm going to give this, like, a C-. Like, I don't think it's a D, but I still think they really pushed these down. Like, made these comments pretty bad. Bummer. Next up, we have River Wheel Sweep, which is 2 aura blue, 2 aura red, 2 aura white. For a sorcery at uncommon, it says tap target creature, put 3 stun counters on it. And then you also get to exile the top 2 cards of your library. Choose one of them. Until the end of your next turn, you may play that card. I think this also is like a C-. Just not really great. Like, I don't usually want to play the card that says tap, put a stun counter on something, draw a card. And this is just a harder to cast version of that card. But you don't even get to keep the card. You get to choose between 2 cards, but you have to try to cast them next turn. And I think a lot of the time we're going to have more expensive cards. I guess maybe in Jeskai you will have probably cheaper stuff, but no, no. Next up, we have Jeskai Brushmaster, which is 1 blue, red, white for a 2/4 creature orc monk with double strike and prowess. Love those keywords. This is going to be hard to deal with in combat. This loves pump spells. B-. Next up is Jeskai Shrine Keeper, which is 2 blue, red, white for a 3/3 creature dragon at uncommon. It has flying, it has haste. Whenever this creature deals combat damage, you gain 1 life and draw a card. B+, baby. You get to draw a card every time you hit your opponent with this? Like, it's just on the card, and it has haste and flying? And randomly you get to gain life too? All sweet things. B+. I'm going to be looking for this card. This card's awesome. This card's going to fuel your like double spelly flurry cards so well. So well. Awesome. Next up we have Flamehold Grappler, which is blue, red, white for a 3/3 creature human monk at rare. It has first strike. It says when this creature enters, copy the next spell you cast this turn when you cast it, you may choose new targets for the copy. Another freaking sweet B+. Holy crap. You just play this and then a 2-drop on turn 5 and you get like token copies of whatever creature that was, or you get double flame, molten exhale or whatever. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, buddy. This is good. B+. Next up we have Narset, Jeskai Waymaster. It's blue, red, white for a 3/4 legendary creature, human monk at rare. At the beginning of your end step, you may discard your hand. If you do, draw cards equal to the number of spells you cast this turn. Okay, so I don't think that this is a bomb level card. I do think it fuels you really interestingly. I think this card's really cool. Do I think that this is like slam it, pack one, pick one kind of thing? Absolutely not. I still think this is a B+. We've had this like run of B+. They're all pretty cool. But this doesn't really kill your opponent, but it does give you a lot of value, and your opponent probably does have to kill this. But I don't worry. You don't have to discard your hand if you don't want to. But no, I think this is a great way to refill your hand later in the game. But you do need you need other stuff going on. So this doesn't feel like a bomb. That's why it's just a B+. Next up, we have Rediscover the Way, which is a saga for blue, red, white. It's a rare. It has 3 chapters, 2 of which are the same. It's chapter 1 and 2 is look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. So draw 2 cards, essentially. You get to pick whichever one you want. And then the 3rd chapter is whenever you cast a non-creature spell this turn, target creature you control gains double strike. Oh, double strike. You know what? I think this will help out a lot. And you do get to look at so many cards and find exactly what you want. So that's really nice. But I'm probably just going to give this like a C+. Like all the other cards that you have will probably have to give there'll be combat tricks. And so you might be looking for combat tricks to give your creature's death double strike and anything else you can. But you do get to look at 6 cards, and 2 of which go into your hand over a couple turns. I like it. C+. Next up is New Way Forward, which is 2 blue, red, white for an instant at rare. It says the next time a source of your choice would deal damage to you this turn, prevent that damage. When damage is prevented this way, New Way Forward deals that much damage to that source's controller, and you draw that many cards. This is going to be so freaking scary whenever you're attacking with your big dragon in the air and Jeskai is just holding up 5 mana. And they're like, oh, sorry. Instead of you dealing 5 damage to me, I'm going to deal 5 damage back to you and draw 5 cards. What the hell? Now, you do have to be able to hold up this much, and you have to be playing against a deck that plays something really big, right? So this card is not good against Mardu stuff or maybe Abzan things. But against the Temur decks, against the Sultai decks, this card's the shit. This could also just be a card that I think is really fun and awesome. I'm giving this an A, even though it probably isn't an A, but I want to give it to it anyway because I like it. I like it a lot. It reminds me of Deflecting Palm, but even better. I mean, Deflecting Palm was a lot cheaper, so that was easier to hold up. But this card seems like just a blast. A blast. I like it a lot. Yeah. Oh, cool. Next up is Shiko, Paragon of the Way. It's 2 blue, red, white for a 4/5 legendary creature, Spirit Dragon at Mythic. It has flying and vigilance, and says when Shiko enters, exile target non-land card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard, copy it, then you may cast the copy without paying its mana cost. So you just play this, and then just get something for free, hopefully some sort of removal spell, or maybe a creature thing, or whatever. Hell yeah. A. This is an A. This dragon seems awesome. You just gotta get whatever you want. It's 2 bodies, essentially, or you're gonna blow up your opponent's stuff. This is... oh, so cool. So great. Next up is Jeskai Revelation. It's 4 blue, red, white for an instant at Mythic. It says return target spell or permanent to its owner's hand. Jeskai Revelation deals 4 damage to any target. Create 2 1/1 white monk creature tokens with prowess. Draw 2 cards. Gain 4 life. That is so many different things happening. It is a lot. Return a spell or permanent. So probably return a permanent. Deal 4 damage to another permanent, probably. Make 2 1/1s. Draw 2 cards. Gain 4 life. Makes my head hurt. Yeah, this is like an A+. This card's fantastic. I think it's going to be really good in this format too. Just so great. If you could ever copy this somehow, good night. Good night. So good. All right, so the last thing for Jeskai is their ultimatum. And it's a special guest. It's the Inspired Ultimatum. Blue, blue, red, 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 white, white for a sorcery. It says target player gains 5 life. Inspired Ultimatum deals 5 damage to any target, and then you draw 5 cards. So look at this card. All right. Really hard to cast. Does 3 things, but it cares about 5s or whatever. Look at this card. This is same mana cost, 7. Cheaper. I mean, cheaper in the sense that it's easier to cast because of the color constrictions. Does way more things. You draw less cards, but you deal a little bit less damage and whatever, but this card's way better, right? This card, not as good. This card, fantastic. Instant speed, sorcery speed. No competition. This is significantly worse. I'm actually going to give this like a C, I think. I just don't know if it's going to be worth doing. Drawing 5 cards sounds like a lot, but this is one of the worst ultimatums. You might not even want to... This could be a D. Doesn't really do anything. It doesn't. You know what? Yeah, we said C. No, screw that. This is a D. You shouldn't be playing this card because this card is so much better. Don't play this one. Play this one. That's rough. This card has always gotten hate though, so I don't feel that bad about it. All right, last up we have Gurmag Nightwatch for our Sultai cards. It is blue aura black. 2 aura black, 2 aura green, 2 aura blue for a 3/3 creature human ranger. It says when this creature enters, look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may put one of those cards back on top and put the rest in your graveyard. Blah. D. I don't like you. It basically is just surveils, but it's just not that exciting. I don't like it. I don't like these cards very much. Next up is Rakshasa's Bargain, which is 2 in a black, 2 in a green, 2 in a blue for an instant at uncommon. It says, look at the top 4 cards of your library, put 2 of them into your hand, the rest into your graveyard. All right, this one's much better than the last one. I know the last one's a creature and all that stuff, but looking at the top 4 and then putting 2 of them into your hand and then the other 2 into your graveyard at instant speed, all things that I'm kind of interested in doing. It's still like a C though, but I like it better than the last one. Man, those commons really brutal. Really brutal. Next up, we have Lie in Wait. Oh, this is cool. It's black, green, blue for a sorcery at uncommon. It says return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Lie in Wait deals damage equal to that card's power to target creature. So you return something to your hand and then shoot something else. This is like a Raise Dead that also has a removal spell stapled to it. It's like a B-. It all kind of depends on what's going on. It is hard to cast, but boy, is that fun. What a fun flavor. Oh, I like that a lot. Zombie crocodile killing the bird thing. So cool. So awesome. Next up is Karu Goldkeeper. It's 1 black, green, blue for a 3/3 creature dragon uncommon. It has flying. It says whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard during your turn, create a treasure token. And you can renew, which is 2 black, green, blue for, and you can exile it. You get to put 2+1/+1 counters and a flying counter on target creature. Activate only as a sorcery. 2+1/+1 counters and a flying counter. Big game. Flying counter. Huge game. And the added bonus of just like getting treasures when you renew stuff is kind of nice. But yeah, 4 mana 3/3 that eventually makes another version of it. This is like a B. I like a lot of these renew cards that die and then turn one of your other creatures into it, basically. Cool. Cool. Yeah, this is a B. Next up is Awaken the Honored Dead. It is black, green, blue for an enchantment saga rare. It has 3 chapters that are all different. First chapter is destroy target non-land permanent. Second chapter is mill 3 cards. And the third chapter is you may discard a card. When you do, return target creature or land card from your graveyard to your hand. Nice. This does all the things you want. Blows up something, basically whatever you want. Then you get to mill some stuff. Then you could discard a card to get something back. Yeah, this is like a B+. This card seems pretty good. Yeah, I'm gonna be so annoyed when my opponents play this card. Ugh. Also reminds me of the one from Kaldheim that costs 4 mana and does a very similar thing that bugged the crap out of me, and it was in that Emergent Ultimatum deck in Standard. So I have like this kind of. I get really scared of this card because that was a card that I often had to see on turn 4 and I just hated it. But anyway, this one's very good and also fantastic. Next up is Fangkeeper's Familiar, which is 1 black, green, blue for a 3/3 creature snake at rare. It has flash. It says when this creature enters, choose 1. You gain 3 life and surveil 3. Probably what you're going to do the most. Destroy target enchantment and counter target creature spell. You want this to counter a creature spell, but if you hold this up for the whole turn and your opponent doesn't play a creature, you probably just need to play this as like a 3/3 gain 3, surveil 3. Which is not the worst. Instant speed, being able to do that, and every once in a while you can counter the creature spell. So, yeah, I think this is pretty good. I like this. This is like a B. I think it's pretty solid. I don't think it's phenomenal, but the fact that if you get a creature spell with this, so good. So good. If you don't get a creature spell with this, then it kind of drops down to a C probably. Not nearly as exciting, but the potential's there. Next up is Kotis, the Fangkeeper. It's 1 black, green, blue for a 2/1 legendary creature, zombie warrior with indestructible. 4 mana 2/1 indestructible. It says whenever Kotis deals combat damage to a player, exile the top X cards of your library, where X is the amount of damage that was dealt. 2, probably. And says you may cast any number of spells with mana value X or less from among them without paying their mana cost. So this card is funny because this card is Sultai. However, it wants to be best friends with Abzan because it wants counters, baby. You want this to get really big, and then your opponent, like right now, a 4 mana 2/1 indestructible, like your opponent just blocks it all day. You can block with it all day as well, but you need to make this bigger for it to actually do what you want, and so it needs +1/+1 counters, and it's not in the +1/+1 counter like archetype. So. Not saying that you can't but counter. I mean, okay, sorry. I was saying that Abzan is the only +1/+1 counter archetype. That's not true. Renew has +1/+1 counters. It's almost explicitly what it does. I don't know why I completely forgot about that at the very end of the set review. But yes, actually, this card really wants the Karu Goldkeeper to put 2 +1/+1 counters on it and flying. That's what this wants. So if you're able to do that, this becomes really good. So I'm going to take this from a B- to a B+, because all you need to do is have one of those cards with Renew. This needs it, though. It needs it. Without that, it's pretty underwhelming. So you have to build your deck around that. But if you do, this card seems really sweet. But it can't be a bomb without those pieces, and that's why it's stuck in the B range. But sweet card. Also, is this the guy from Zoolander? He's got his hand in a thing. He's like a hand model or something? I don't know. Anyway, Next up is Lotus Light Dancers, which is 2 black, green, blue for a 3/6 creature zombie bard at rare. It has lifelink. It says when this creature enters, search your library for a black card, a green card, and a blue card. Put those cards into your graveyard, then shuffle. What I really like about this is that it doesn't care about monocolored ones, so you can get your black card could also be blue and green. You know what I mean? So you can get 3 different cards, but they could all be Sultai, Sultai, Sultai. And it's awesome with the renewed cards. Like this is what you want right after you have your Kotis, so you can go make sure there's renew cards in your graveyard to then do the renew thing and then get your creature huge. This also holds counters really, really well. It has lifelink already, giving this death touch or giving this trample or giving this flying, making it bigger. It's got a huge butt. I don't know. There's a lot of cool things with this. Yeah, this card seems really nice. It's like it's a bee. It's interesting to see what you can do with the kind of buried alive effect of this, but yeah, just renewing things. I don't know. Cool. It's just cool design. Next up is Teval, Arbiter of Virtue. It's 2 black, green, blue for a 6/6 legendary creature spirit dragon at Mythic. It has flying and lifelink, and it says spells you cast have delve. Oh, what? Just all spells you cast have delve? That's crazy. It also says whenever you cast a spell, you lose life equal to its mana value. All right, so there it is. So I can't just play like 8 mana things and delve things out of my graveyard. I have to not do that. But this card seems so cool. I think this is like an A+, even without that. Like you are going to lose life, of course, because you have to cast spells, but it has lifelink on it. Like, just make sure you attack first before you actually do all your delve craziness, right? Don't try to delve and do everything and then attack and gain life back. Like, you might just have to attack first to make sure that you're not just going to kill yourself. 5 mana for a 6/6 flying lifelink? That's amazing. Maybe some of these flying creatures I was hoping to be able to attack my opponents with will not get through because these dragons are way too good. Yeah. This is like an A+ bomb. Like, this is crazy. So cool. So cool. Next up is Death Begets Life. It is 5 black, green, blue. So 8 mana total for a sorcery at Mythic. It says destroy all creatures and enchantments. Draw a card for each permanent destroyed this way. 8 mana board wipe is a lot. It's so much. But the fact that you draw all these cards afterwards in limited, this is busted because your opponents won't be able to do that. They're going to be left with nothing on the battlefield and no cards in hand, and you will be left with like so many cards in hand you're worried you're decking. You're going to draw like 10 off of this easy. You're going to have to discard to this card. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be crazy. I'm giving this an A+. It is expensive, but that effect is, again, so strong. So strong. Maybe you will just mill out, though. We'll have to find out. Next up is Emergent Ultimatum. It's the showcase card, and this is the last ultimatum, last one. So it's black, black, green, 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 blue, blue for a sorcery at Mythic. It says search your library for up to 3 monocolored cards with different names and exile them. An opponent chooses one of them, shuffles that card into your library, and then you may cast the other cards without paying their mana costs. Exile Emergent Ultimatum. This card is I want to say D. Because I think most of your cards that are going to be good are going to be all multicolored cards. And this card will just not really do anything. There are some good monocolored cards for sure, but they're all mythic and rare, and this is such a meme. I just don't think you should try doing this. It seems like it could be so good, but this is only good when you cast it and then the game ends because you comboed off and won, and your opponent had no choice. Basically, they have to pick Omniscience and some extra turn spells and then a tutor, essentially. So it's like, oh, put the tutor back in, but then you have Omniscience and then you get an extra turn and you cast everything you have. And if they give you the tutor, then you just go tutor for something, It's not going to do what you want in draft, and so I just don't think you should play this card. There's an edge case. Maybe you find a deck that has some good monocolored stuff in it and you're able to do something. But for the most part, I think this is just a D and you should just not play this card. Last up, Call the Spirit Dragons. This is our final card and it is all 5 colors. So it's white, blue, black, red, green. It is an enchantment. It is mythic. It says dragons you control have indestructible. Wow. And at the beginning of your upkeep, for each color, put a +1/+1 counter on a dragon you control of that color. If you put a +1/+1 counter on 5 dragons this way, you win the game. This is an F. You should not take this card. If you have 5 dragons of different colors, the game should be over already. You basically already won. You don't need to give them indestructible, and you don't need to screw up your deck by having 5 colors of mana in it for this card. Because when you draw it, it does nothing. If you have nothing on the board, it does literally nothing. This is a fun card for like memes and dreams and commander peeps. So definitely play it in all those places. It's much more viable in those, all that. But in draft, you should not play this. I don't think you should do it. Please don't put this in your deck. Well, folks, we did it. We made it through all the multicolor cards. Whew, that was a crazy one. Thank you for sticking with me if you got all the way here to the end. I really appreciate it. These are always lots of fun, and I hope that some of my insights or anything that I have said either rings true or is exactly the opposite of what you think, and you need to tell me in the comments below. I'd really appreciate it. Please tell me if you think I'm wrong. I actually love being able to talk about that and opening a conversation with people who have different ideas than me because, you know, that's the fun part about all this stuff. It's just magic. It's just fun to chat about. Also, please subscribe and do all the normal YouTube-y stuff. But honestly, just hearing from you is what I like the most. Yeah, if you haven't watched all the other color set review things, they should be popping up there all around. Check them out. And yeah, excited for Tarkir Dragonstorm. Pre-release this weekend, baby. Let's go. Anyway, folks, thank you all very much. And I will see you again next time. Bye.